Hey everybody, now it's time for the Pizza Head Show! If you're of a certain age, you may recall a series of commercials involving a talking slice of pizza called Pizza Head, particularly around Halloween. But where did the Pizza Head Show come from? And what happened to it? This is the horrifying history of Pizza Hut's Pizza Head. Pizza Hut, the pizza restaurant chain, found itself in a precarious predicament in the 1990s. It spent years battling with other titans of the pizza world like Domino's and Little Caesars for market dominance, slashing prices, promising more toppings, or, in Pizza Hut's and Domino's cases, faster delivery, and ever-expanding menu offerings, all while slandering each other in commercials.
If you know anything about this game, you know that some things never change. But if you know about getting great pizza delivered, you know that nobody stands up to Pizza Hut delivery. The difference is the pizza.
And while it had held on to its spot as number one, Pizza Hut watched its same-store sales for company-owned units in the United States decline 5% in the second quarter of 1994. Operating profits fell 10%. And so Pizza Hut shifted strategy. Instead of deepening its discounts, it turned its focus to, quote, the emotional aspect of the food experience. As the company's marketing vice president, Tim Polito, noted, you need to make an emotional as well as rational appeal. To that end, Pizza Hut began airing two commercial campaigns. The first was focused on adults and was themed as falling in love again. The campaign showed couples, friends, and families enjoying pizza together, emphasizing the quality of the Pizza Hut pizza and experience. The second campaign was focused on a neglected but influential group of consumers, tweens. As Ann McDonald, VP of Brand Marketing and Advertising, said, if we can become the #1 brand for kids at that age, we can keep them as they grow older. Polito added, over 60% of pizza occasions occur with kids. Kids 8 to 12 are more the decision makers of the household. To attract tweens, Pizza Hut wanted an advertising campaign designed specifically for them. And instead of turning to BDDO, their usual ad agency, they hired a new firm, Goodby, Silverstein & Partners. And Pizza Hut had a very specific concept in mind for what it wanted Goodby, Silverstein & Partners to create. But before I get to that, I first have to introduce someone else entirely.
How about a sleigh ride down the mountain?
No, it didn't snow this Christmas, though. No, leave me alone, Mr. Harris.
Race you downhill.
This Play-Doh character was the work of Mr. Walter Williams, who filmed a Mr. Bill skit on his Super 8 camera and sent it to this new NBC sketch comedy show you maybe have heard of before.
NBC Saturday Night!
Mr. Bill and his Oh No's were popular reviewers, and soon he, his dog Spot, Mr. Hands, and a bully called Sluggo became regulars on the show. Pizza Hut wanted a character like Mr. Bill, but in pizza form, so Goodby, Silverstein & Partners brought in Walter Williams as director. They flew him to San Francisco, where they, of course, ordered some pizza. Right then and there, Williams began piecing together a character, using different pizza toppings.
When you get down to it, it's kind of the logical choices, pepperoni with the black olive and there's like the pupils and the red for the lips and the little green chunk for the nose.
For perhaps obvious reasons, this character was dubbed Pizza Head. Williams envisioned Pizza Head being the creation of a kid playing with their food at Pizza Hut. The kid would act out a little show called The Pizza Head Show. In addition to Pizza Head, the commercials would feature a hand similar to Mr. Hands of Mr. Bill fame, and Steve, a pizza cutter that would serve as Pizza Head's arch-nemesis and source of his problems. The basic concept for the commercial seemed to come quickly to Walter Williams and the ad agency, but other details were harder to agree on. For example, some of the people working on the commercial wanted the sets to have a skewed aesthetic, like Pee-wee's Playhouse. Williams wanted the sets to be realistic. The agency also wanted the commercials to look like Williams' early Mr. Bill sketches, complete with shaky footage from a Super 8 camera.
A lot of the agency people had seen the Super 8 Mr. Bills, and they thought I was purposely making them look crummy like that. When in fact, I was doing the best I could at the time with what I had with Super 8. And I wasn't purposely moving the camera, I just had a cheap tripod.
Williams didn't want to emulate early Mr. Bill. He just wanted to tell clear, funny stories. Now, Walter Williams would ultimately get his way, but it would take a natural disaster to get the ad agency on board. We'll be right back. Enjoying this video? Please consider giving it a like, a comment, or subscribing to my channel below. Thank you, and now back to the video. The advertising agency scheduled a big meeting where the creative direction for the commercials would be decided. Williams was planning to fly into San Francisco from his home in Burbank, California. That morning, he woke up and his bed was shaking. In fact, his whole house was shaking. It was a 6.7 magnitude earthquake that would come to be known as the Northridge earthquake.
From a distance, it could have been any morning in Los Angeles. It was not. This is the busiest freeway in the United States, Interstate 10, the Santa Monica Freeway. This morning at 7:30, rush hour, it looked like this. The earthquake had buckled large sections of the freeway. It was undrivable. Later in the day, crews would begin dismantling the overpasses. Further north, from 3,000 feet, it looked like any morning in the San Fernando Valley. It was not. The smog mingled with dust kicked up by a continuing series of aftershocks. Here you see the massive interchange where Interstate 5, the Golden State Freeway, connects with Highway 14, the Antelope Valley Freeway. Rush hour. Normally the freeways would be full of people heading to downtown LA. Instead, they were on surface streets, barely crawling.
Earthquake or not, Walter Williams was determined to get to that meeting. Even as tremors and dust clouds continued, Williams boarded a plane for San Francisco. And he made it.
When I showed up at that meeting, everyone was shocked because they knew about the earthquake, and there's no way I would be showing up. So pretty much anything I said went at that point because he's here from the earthquake.
Another challenge was the matter of finding the right set of hands to play one of the commercial's leading characters, Mr. Hands. Since the commercials were targeted at kids, the agency wanted a kid's hands.
It's harder than people think to give it a natural hand gesture. You're really getting close on it.
They ultimately found the perfect actor in Nathaniel Sherritt, or Nathan. Despite growing up over the years of filming commercials, Nathan Sherritt continued to be the hands, and sometimes legs, throughout the entire duration of the Pizza Head show. Lastly, the narrator of the commercial wasn't an actor at all. He was a copywriter from Goodby, Silverstein & Partners. He did a kind of homage to Mr. Bill's voice.
Now it's time for the Pizza Head Show.
Hey, everybody! Today we're gonna learn how Pizza Hut makes their famous crust. Yay!
That's right, Pizza Head. And here's your friend Chef Steve to explain.
Oh, hi, Chef. Hey, wait a second, he's not a chef.
Sure he is. He just wants to show you how they make thin and crispy pizza.
When it came to actually making the commercials, Goodby, Silverstein & Partners brought in Colossal Pictures. Colossal Pictures was an animation and special effects studio whose work included a series of bumpers for Disney Channel that featured only Mickey's hands, not his face, making Colossal a perfect match for the Pizza Head show. Each Pizza Head show story typically featured some kind of Pizza Hut promotion, whether it be a new product like triple cheese or stuffed crust, or a tie-in with another brand like Marvel or Goosebumps or Star Wars. Walter Williams worked with the ad agency to create the scripts, and Colossal Pictures worked with Mr. Bill prop maker Jim Wilson to build the miniature sets and models. Now, it would have been extremely difficult to make the commercials using real pizza, so Colossal Pictures formed Pizza Head out of latex. And it was a good thing too, because Pizza Head had to withstand a lot of physical trauma. Each commercial brought new horrors for Pizza Head. He was rolled, stepped on, dropped in hot cheese, dribbled, cut in half, squashed, covered in cement, arrested, and of course eaten. A disguised pizza cutter named Steve was brought in to rescue Pizza Head from whatever sticky situation he found himself in, only for Pizza Head to realize quickly that Steve was no help at all.
Hey, wait, he's not a superhero!
Sure he is.
Inevitably, Pizza Head and the miniature model of the Pizza Hut would meet a terrible but funny fate. Though the commercials were made with models and miniatures, it wasn't stop motion. In fact, there was no animation at all. It was all done using hands. Each commercial took 2 to 3 weeks to make, and were typically comprised of 20 different shots. As Walter Williams recalled,
because if you hold on it too long, then you start realizing, wait, this thing isn't talking. And it's like, you gotta keep it moving.
And some commercials were more expensive to make than others. Take, for example, the Halloween commercial.
We put a lot into it. I remember the agency saying, well, I mean, the client, may not want to invest a lot into like a one-time thing. But I said, but if it's good enough, they'll do it every Halloween, like a Wizard of Oz type of thing. And they did.
These commercials aired during kids' shows on major networks like Fox. And though there were some early plans to bring the Pizza Head show to family programming where adults would see them, Pizza Hut wanted kids to have ownership over the commercials first. As Tim Polito said, "We've made a conscious effort to focus on kids alone. We want kids to see this first and say, oh yeah, that's cool." So, did it work? Did the Pizza Head show make Pizza Hut cool for tweens? Unfortunately, the answer seems to be no. David Koning of the Associated Press reported that, by the late 90s, the Pizza Hut brand was ailing because it hadn't been able to translate its popularity among baby boomers to the boomers' children. But the Pizza Head show lasted 4 years, which suggests that Pizza Hut was seeing some success with the commercial campaign. After 20-some commercials, Pizza Hut bid adieu to the Pizza Head show. When asked why he thought Pizza Hut discontinued the commercials, Walter Williams wasn't sure, but he wasn't surprised.
I don't know. It seemed like 4 years longer than I expected it to go. So everything ends, very dark. But no, it wasn't surprising. Kind of surprising we did so many, but each one worked on its own, so they kept wanting more. I think that's the key.
And perhaps for that reason, the Pizza Head show has had a kind of second life on the internet, where nostalgic adults have posted fond recollections and commercial compilations of the show. I can say for me personally, the Pizza Head Trick or Treat commercial has been living rent-free in my head for years. When speaking to Walter Williams, he noted, "I had a feeling that someday, people your age may be looking back at things from their childhood, and it might come up." That's all for this look back at the Pizza Head show. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please consider giving it a like and subscribing to my channel below. Thank you again, and I'll see you next time.